Hello magnificent souls, welcome back to the Ruben Lyron Healer channel. I am your host Ruben Lyron Healer and this is part 2 of the channeling series. So in this video I want to take you on a journey into a crystal. So the purpose is to commune with the devas within the crystals, because there's loads of people who talk about like communing with the spirit of a place, so it's a similar manner. So if you go to Stonehenge, then you would commune to the spirit of the place. If you go to a mountain, you'd connect with the spirit of that place. If you go to a lake, then you would connect with the nature spirit of that place. So connecting with a crystal is a similar principle, because these are all living beings. Actually, so I've written a quote here which I saw, which comes from Nikola Tesla. So if you're in the spiritual community, or if you have an interest in science, then you should know about Nikola Tesla, because he was a genius. So anyhow, this quote is, "In a crystal we have clear evidence of the existence of a formative life principle, and although we cannot understand the life of a crystal, it is nevertheless a living being." So that is a quote directly from Nikola Tesla, as far as I'm aware. He's just basically pointing out that crystals are living. So if you look at it, a crystal doesn't physically move, so it doesn't walk about. It's not like if you see a cat will get up and move. Crystals, they grow. I suppose crystals do grow when they are not disconnected from like that crystal cave, such and such. But even after they are disconnected from the crystal cave and the matrix of crystals, they are still living and conscious beings. So that is the point I'm trying to make to you. So this is why I want us to connect with the devas within the crystals. So this is regardless of any size of the crystal, so you can connect with a massive crystal. This is quite a chunky piece of clear quartz, so you can, it's regardless of the size really, so you could connect with a small crystal. I've got a little celestite crystal which I'm going to show you a little bit with that as well. I've got a auralite crystal here. So these are all varying sizes. You can, even if you have a crystal which is smaller than that, the point of this is not the size of the crystal, because the physical size of something does not measure the spirit being or the size of the consciousness within it, basically, is what I'm trying to say. I hope if you are watching this video that you watched the last installment, which was the beginning, or the keys to channeling. So in this video I'm going to be continuing from some of the technique and some of the foundations which I laid in that video. Will be stepping up from there, so to speak. That is the purpose of this video. Without further ado, let me get into it. If you are one of the amazing people who watched the last video, thank you very much. And also, if you watched the last video, I hope you did take the opportunity to write your own psychic statement. So it can be similar to my one, it can be exactly the same as my one if you want. It is completely up to you. So it can be as elaborate. You could have a four-page psychic statement if you love reciting words. So the psychic statement is all about the intention behind it. So if you want a 2-line psychic statement, if you want a 1-word even psychic statement, then that is possible. It's all to do with the intention which you place behind something and the intention which you speak something. So if your intention is to maybe recite a poem that you love, and your intention in the back of your head is you know that you're reciting that poem because you want to connect with spirit, you love that poem and it means something special to you, then fair enough, go ahead and do that. Or if you want to have a psychic statement which is similar to mine, which is kind of like a prayer calling upon spirit, the spirit guides and the ancestors and star family, then you can do that as well. So the psychic statement, like I said, it's all to do with the intention and just telling the universe that you're ready and open and you're ready to go, basically. So that is the psychic statement. The next thing that I just want to briefly talk about is the crystal care. So if you're like myself and you love crystals and you can't get enough of crystals, if you love to wear them, if you love to have them around you, if you sleep with them under your pillow, if you carry them in your pockets, then that is brilliant. So crystal care is also important. So if you're going to get the best out of your crystals, then you need to upkeep with them. So by that I mean charging them, cleansing them, programming them. So these are all things that I have some videos on some of these topics. I do mention a lot of these stuff in, I know I have one video, crystals for protection, so do check that out if you're interested and you'd like to know more about crystals, because I do go into a lot of these things. When I say crystal care, I mean cleansing, charging, programming your crystal. So basically it's the steps that you take with a crystal before you're about to use that crystal. So say if you've got a crystal for the first time, you've bought it from a metaphysical store or a witch shop or a crystal shop or a metaphysical fair, anything along those lines. So if you've just bought a crystal for the first time, you don't know where that crystal has been. So fair enough, a lot of crystal tellers, a lot of crystal sellers will tell you where the crystal was mined, and if that is a crystal merchant, for example, they may be able to give you more information on the journey that crystal has taken before it's ended up at wherever you bought it from. But specifically, you don't know who has been in the vicinity of that crystal, what kind of energies. So if there's been negative energies, negative beings, anything that wants to connect with it or ruin the energies of the crystal. So basically, this is why we cleanse crystals, especially when we first get them. So it's good to have a routine of regularly cleansing your crystals, but you especially need to do it when you first get the crystal for the first time. So you can cleanse it by using smudge sticks. So I've shown you quite a few times. So this is a smudge stick here. This is a rosemary smudge stick. So you can use any sort of smudge stick. So I've got rosemary here. A popular one is sage. You could use pine. You could use Palo Santo. So Palo Santo is another one of my favourites. So you can use absolutely anything, or even you could just use, if you're really on a budget, because smudging can be quite expensive, you can just even use a incense stick or a joss stick, whatever you want to call them. So basically, like I was saying with all of the other stuff, it's all to do with the intention. So if you're putting the intention, you're calling upon the element of air to cleanse that crystal, then it will be done. It's all about cleansing, smudging, preparing your crystals, getting it ready for work. So once you have prepared your crystals and it's ready for working with you, you spend a bit of time bonding with that crystal. So earlier, before this video, I spent a bit of time just lying with the crystal, holding it in my hands and just chilling out, because I'd got back from work and from my day job, so to speak. So I got back from my day job and I was just chilling with the crystals and setting the intention that me and the crystal, we're going to commune today. I'm going to do some channeling. I'm going to tap into the Deva within the crystals, and we're going to go through this process together. So basically I was just setting that intention, creating that bond. So I've had this crystal for quite a while, so I already do have a bond with the crystal. But just for today's process, just kind of giving the crystal a heads up that, hey, I'm going to tap into you today, we're going to have some fun, basically. So that is preparing your crystal and getting it ready for channeling or whatever work you want to do. Basically, radios have crystals and quartz in them. So crystals they specialise in holding energy, containing information. So holding crystals is useful. So basically, if you're wanting to manifest something, if you're wanting to send your prayers out to deities, the ascended masters, the ancestors, whoever, if you're wanting to send something out into the universe, or if you're wanting to draw something in, then crystals are good for doing that. Crystals send and receive energy. They can hold many different frequencies. So I'm going to play for you the sound of the sun frequency today, because I want you to use that sound as to attune your crystals to. So you can attune your crystals to many different frequencies. So just basically singing to your crystal, chanting with the crystal. You're going to be placing them frequencies inside the crystals. So just a simple So that's a simple frequency, and the crystal will hold that frequency. So I'm going to play the sound of the sun. There's the Schumann resonance. So that's like the frequency of the earth, I believe. But the sound of the sun, I like to use that one a lot when I'm making organites. They call the sun our central sun, meaning that it is the centre of our little universe, or solar system at the very least. Sun is a very important energy, and without the sun, basically, we wouldn't be alive, because the sun is the life giver. So that is why the sun's energy is very important. So before I waffle on some more, I'm going to play the sound of the sun for you. So please get your crystals out now and begin to set your intentions for readying your crystal to do some channeling. So that is the sound of the sun. Let me know if you've heard this before, or if you have any questions about it. I don't claim to be an authority. All I do know really is that the sound of the sun, this has somehow been captured by NASA. So it's a sound apparently which the sun makes in outer space. Okay. But it's a really nice frequency. And I do vibe with it well. Maybe because I'm a sun sign myself, I'm a Leo. But yeah, I do like this sound. It's funny, my other half, I kind of drive him crazy. So whenever I'm making organites, like we're saying, I'll be playing this like crazy. I'll be playing it from the speakers, like quite loud. And it kind of drives him crazy a bit, because I'll be doing that for an hour. Because if you've made anything with resin yourself, especially polyester casting resin, it does take quite a while to set, so it's not instantaneous. I'm going to stop waffling on now for a bit and just take this moment to begin to set your intentions. So hold your crystal, feel free to put the crystal near to wherever the sound is coming from. So if you're playing this from speakers, or if you're playing it from your phone, put your crystal near to that for a while, just to let the frequencies sit inside the crystal. So if you have set your intentions, it's also good to think about creating your grounding cords. I did mention that in the last video as well. So if you want to create a grounding cord which goes from the crystal, ground that crystal into the depths of Mother Earth. Ground yourself, so visualize your grounding cord coming from the base of your spine, reaching deep down into the Mother Earth. So ground your crystal, ground yourself. Center yourself, focusing on pulling yourself together, basically. Like, push your consciousness from your heart center. So basically you're thinking from the heart center, or focusing from the heart center, or the heart chakra. Which is a very good thing to do. I did mention it in the last video, but at least I hope I did. So when you're channeling, it's always good to make sure you're focusing on the heart center, so that any guidance which comes through is coming from the heart, rather than if it's coming from somewhere else. Because if you're tapping into the heart, then you are surely tapping into spirit, because the two are linked quite closely. That is the sound of the sun, so we've used that to place those frequencies into your crystal. So let me know what you think about that. Feel free to write a comment. Before we do start the channeling, so we've set the intention with the crystals, and we've had the sound of the sun for placing those frequencies in the crystals. Now I just wanted to read a quick few words from the Element Encyclopedia of the Psychic World. So basically I just wanted to tell you what a Deva meant for me. So I told you what my interpretation of a crystal Deva is. So basically all crystals are living beings, and the spirit inside the crystal is what I call a crystal Deva. So I've decided I will get a standard interpretation of what a Deva means, and explain that to you as well. Interpretation, or the standard meaning of a Deva. This book is by Teresa Chung. The word Devas come from the Sanskrit meaning shining, which is very interesting. In Hinduism and Buddhism, Devas are believed to be exalted beings with great powers. In theosophy and occult traditions, they are a class of beings midway between angels and elementals, or elemental spirits, they say in the book, having special authority over the world of nature. In modern times, Devas are popularly thought to be nature spirits in charge of the elemental spirits of air, water, fire and earth. They are invisible and etheric in nature, inhabiting the astral plane. They communicate with people by psychic means such as channeling and ESP. It is thought that the channeled wisdom of Devas was responsible for the location of the Find Horn community in Scotland, whatever that is. But yeah, I thought it would be a good idea to read you that, just so you get a bit more background and you see a bit more clearly what we're going to be tapping into with our crystals. Okay, so I'm just going to take this opportunity to, because can't believe it, I've actually forgot to say this sooner. So before we do get into the meditation, I'm just going to say one simple thing, which if you've watched the other videos, you will have heard me say it quite a few times. So basically, I just thank you for watching this video, thank you for tuning in, and please do hit that subscribe button. Ooh, that sounded kind of out of tune today. So please do hit the subscribe button, and please do come back and take a look around. I've got quite a lot of interesting videos. So crystals and spirituality is something that you're interested in, then I've got plenty of those videos and I'll be making plenty more, so please do stick around. Thank you. Before we do our channeling, I just want you to practice holding your crystal and feeling the energy of that crystal. So different people have different levels of sensitivity when it comes to feeling energy or feeling crystal energy, and it will fluctuate from time to time, because some days I may not feel much at all, but other days it feels like today's one of those good days where I'm really wired into spirit and I'm picking up lots of energy. Ooh, yeah, that's giving me electric shock, so you will get different sensations. So this is my celestite crystal. So it's good for tapping into angel frequencies and angel energies, or angelic energies, and good for opening the crown chakra as well. Just take a moment to hold your crystal in your hand. So you can clench it in your fist if you want. It's up to you how you want to hold the crystal. You can hold it to your heart, you can hold it to your throat, and hold it to any of the chakras if you feel inclined to do so. But the most important thing is to hold it in your hand so your palm chakras can start to have a little conversation with the crystal. So it's kind of a bit, this exercise is a bit like if you've ever did that thing with two pencils, or it's like if you're feeling magnets, if you have two magnets or even two pencils. We did this at school when I should have been learning about proper useful information. Instead I was messing around with pencils and feeling the magnetism. If you probably won't believe me unless you've tried it before, but basically if you hold two pencils together, oh god, I feel like, please don't hate me for talking about this silly stuff, but basically if you hold two pencils together, by holding it really stiffly and having lots of force, you tap on both pencils side to side. So you tap on that correct pencil, and after a while you then pull the pencils apart and you kind of feel like a magnetism, but it's probably just from the force that you was pushing them together. But yeah, it's kind of strange, so it kind of feels like a magnetism. But yeah, that's some form of physics. But basically the important thing which I'm trying to tell you about is by holding the crystal and talking to it. So just by holding your hand over the crystal, making a few circles over it, and then just see what subtle energies you pick up from the crystal. So it may feel like there's little swirling, it may feel like there's little breezes, or it may feel magnetic, it may feel hot or cold, But either way, these are sensations which you're picking up from the crystal. And as well as the crystal, you will be picking up some energies from your own hand as well, because the head, we have our own, we've got the aura of our own body as well, which we do feel. But at the same time, we'll be picking up some energies from the crystal. So yeah, that was just the basic exercise that I wanted you to do. And then from here, so feel free to pause this video if you want to try that for a bit longer and get it going really. Hold your crystal and bond with it and talk to it for as long as you want. When you're ready, then we can continue to the next part. So I've told you what a deva is. I've told you about grounding, centering. So the next, I want you to speak your psychic statement. So whatever that psychic statement is, always remembering the intention behind saying it. And the important thing is just setting up a routine. So whenever you want to do any channeling, setting up a routine. So whether it's always lighting some Nag Champa incense, whether it's always wearing the same crystal jewellery, whether it's always putting on a cloak, whether it's always wearing a certain pair of glasses, anything at all. So if it's wearing a certain top, wearing a pair of certain shoes, anything, whatever, just getting yourself into them, whatever that routine is that you always do every time you're about to channel. That is just telling the universe, and it's practically telling your own subconscious that you're going to be channeling now. So it's important to always get into that routine. So just think of little things that you can do which just is going to remind you that you're about to do some channeling, or you're about to tap into your psychic faculties, whichever psychic faculty you're wanting to work with. So I've lit some incense. I'm wearing my crystals, and now I'm going to say my psychic statement. So whatever routine you want to create, make sure you've put that into place now, and then say your psychic statement. So I'm going to say mine. Feel free to pause the video or listen to me say it, then pause the video and say yours, or say it at the same time with me if you want to. It's completely up to you. So may spirit come through easily, for I am ready to be a conduit for love and truth and light. I am now connected with spirit in the highest quality of frequencies, visions and spirit messages. Come to me now that I may use all my psychic abilities to their full potential and for the greater good of all concerned. Come to me that I may hear the words of the angels, ascended masters, the ancestors, the star family, guides and deities. So mote it be. And let's not forget, so that I can commune with the crystal as well. Commune with the crystals and the devas. Okay, so that is my psychic statement. Alright, it's also important to remember your protection. So whether you popping on a cloak, I like to visualise putting on a cloak of light or a cloak of stars. So that is my easy way of putting on some protection. So wrap your cloak around you if that's what you want to do, or if you want to call upon protection in a different manner, do that. If there's a certain prayer that you like, if there's a certain angel who you feel drawn to, whether it's Metatron or Archangel Michael, then call upon them and ask them for protection, whether you just simply want to ask deity or spirit, even if you don't want to specify a specific being, just call upon spirit or even your own higher self and just ask for some protection as we go forward and channel our crystal. So just make yourself comfortable. Sit in a comfortable position. Try to keep your spine straight if you can by sitting up straight. That's just for the ease of the flow of energy. And try to just relax your mind. Let thoughts come and go. Try not to fight the thoughts. If stray thoughts wandering, don't fight them, just observe them. And then remember to tap into your childlike wonder. So come from a place of amazement, of awe and childish wonder. And wonder what your crystal would like to say to you. So what messages does your crystal hold? If any particular messages come through to you, feel free to write them down in a pad or on a piece of paper. Feel free to hold your crystal at the third eye and visualize the third eye opening like a many petal flower. Also, another thing to bear in mind is taking nice deep breaths, because of course our energies and the energy which comes from spirit is tied to our breathing. So if you're taking in nice deep breaths, then you're drawing in energy from spirit. You can visualize it as breathing in white light and dispelling black light or smudge or sludge or anything. But the important thing is just to take deep breaths. So no matter what guidance comes through for you, be asking yourself, is this positive guidance which is coming through? So if the guidance is coming from spirit, if it's coming from the Crystal Deva, then it is going to be positive guidance. If it's negative, then it's likely coming from the ego or from some other place which you don't really want to be tapping into. So how does the guidance make you feel? Are you getting any particular sensations when the guidance is coming in? Do you feel like a shiver running up your spine? Do you hear any ringing sensations or high-pitched noises coming in? Because depending on your particular spiritual gifts, you may have different sensations. But the important thing is to have the discernment. So how does this guidance make you feel? Does it feel like it's truthful? Is it ringing the bell of truth for you? And another important thing to remember when channeling is to say the channeling out loud. Even if you're channeling for someone else or if you're channeling for yourself, just whatever guidance is coming through, say, I feel this, I feel that, or my heart is telling me this, or my heart is telling me that. Whatever your heart is telling you, just say it out loud. Don't hold it in, and don't withhold it from yourself or from whoever you're reading for or channeling for. So you can hold your crystal to your third eye, as I was saying. If you want to move it to your heart, then hold it to your heart center. Or if you want to, you could try communing with two crystals at once. Talk about running before you can walk. So if you like, you can hold one crystal to your heart center and the other one to the third eye. My heart is telling me it's important to remember kindness is very important. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. Let your light spill into someone else's life. Let your love and light spill into other people's hearts. Let your auras mingle and intertwine. Let your heart know peace. Let your feet walk the path less travelled. My heart is telling me to trust the process. My heart is telling me that the dragons of light are nearby, are guiding. They're raising our vibration. They're shedding light on our vision of the truth. My heart is telling me that love is the key. Perfect love and perfect trust. My heart is telling me, do not be afraid of what you cannot see. Do not be afraid of the powers that others claim to possess, of the powers that they would hold over you. My heart is telling me that I am sovereign, you are sovereign, and you are more powerful than you can imagine. My heart is telling me to put your hand out, to touch the threads into other astral planes, into other dimensions. Pulling these threads can draw these energies from different timelines, from different past lives, back into ourselves. My heart is telling me to be strong. My heart is telling me stand your ground. You will know freedom. You will know the freedom that your heart longs for. Namaste. thank you for tuning in with me today. So I really hope that you found this exercise useful, and I really hope you had a lovely experience. So please do tune in next time, where we will continue on our channeling journey. So I will announce what the next video will be in the community tab. So do keep an eye on that community tab, because I will be explaining further information, and I will be letting you know when things are going to happen and what is going to happen. So please do stick around. Make sure you've hit that subscribe button and you check out the community tab, and feel free to check out my link tree as well. Check out the other places. I'm all over the place. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Spotify, so do look around. And thank you for watching this video, and for tapping into these energies for yourself and learning to use these magical and spiritual gifts that we all naturally have. So, brightest blessings and namaste. Until next time.